Welcome to this video. Today we're going to be talking about pranayama. Pranayama sometimes is translated as yogic breathing. So if you've been thinking about starting a practice or trying to learn about what it is, I'm going to give you some really nice tips that have really helped me through my journey and practice of pranayama. So there's this important concept in pranayama of lifting the chest. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to start discovering what that means in your body. So yesterday I heard this very interesting statement, and it goes like this. So in a day, in any given day, we probably eat about maybe 2 liters of food, of solid food, give and take. So, and about the same 2.5 liters of water. So we need that for nourishment to keep us going. But we take in over 10,000 liters of air. So we're continuously taking in that nourishment. And whether we see it as nourishment or not, it's a really good way to start understanding the importance of breathing, the importance of a pranayama practice, and the incredible change that it can bring to your life. So if we're taking in these breaths, we might as well take it in a full breath, and then, and really manage that energy, manage that nourishment, so that we're not taking shallow breaths or breaths that are causing different tensions to take over. So in pranayama, at least in the beginning, you can start really noticing what are your tendencies, where are you holding, do you have a knot in the throat constantly, or how can you use the breath to maybe manage a little of the anxiety or those kind of things. So it's much more than just a breathing practice. So with that said, let's get started. Let's take a look at what it means to lift the chest. So let's lift the chest. So I'm in pranayama, I'm sitting in a good position where my back is straight without much effort. I'm able to sit for a period of time without major pain in the feet or in the legs. And I start sensing this area here around my neck. So as if I had this whole circumference area around the neck, and I'm becoming a little bit more aware of this area. So if I put my fingers here, I notice that behind the collarbones here, I can create a deep, soft space, or I can tense the muscles here, and I can create a very hard, tense space back here. The imagery here at first is that if the neck was falling into the body, and the whole chest could just rise up and down, and the neck is just in the middle. So this whole cavity comes up, and the neck stays. So this moves up and down, and then there's a deep, vast space here in between the neck and the clavicles. So let's illustrate that. So sometimes we say, okay, let's do breathing, this kind of breathing where I am breathing with my belly. So this kind of breathing, right? And in this form of pranayama, we don't breathe with the belly. So we would breathe expanding the rib cage out and then lifting the chest. So I want you to take a look at this part of the chest around the neck and see the difference. Okay, so here is just belly breathing. So my belly is going out and in. And what I'm doing here is usually I would definitely have my eyes closed, and I would be removing any tension from the eyes, the ears, and the throat. So you can see there's not much change here. I'm breathing in and I'm breathing out, and you can see how when I breathe out, my chest drops. And I'm not making any kind of this movement here. So with this idea of really lifting the chest, it can look like this. So I would start breathing, and it's very important to remove any tension in the ears, the eyes, and the throat. And the way you do that is you just release the eye, the ear, and the throat, and you practice every day. And then release the muscles of the belly. So I lift my chest. See, the chest is descending, so I try to keep the chest lifted as I exhale too. So I exhale, bring the ribs out, lift the chest, and then keep it lifted as I exhale. It drops a little bit, but we try to maintain that lift. We use this lateral movement of the chest expanding out. So we expand the chest out with like the muscular ability rather than we fill up the lung with the air to expand it out. So the chest expands and then the air rushes in. So that's first. Second, we always breathe with the nose. And when we breathe the air, we make sure that we don't breathe the air in a way that it comes and hits the brain. So we kind of drink the air versus sipping it. And with that, refinement where it just doesn't go. So we drink the air, make sure that it comes down. Then the breath is flavorful. So we try to taste really this incredible quality of the breath too. So we're really savoring each breath. The tongue is kept along the bottom teeth of the mouth and relaxed and wide. And usually it's not dry, mouth closed. And so those are the kind of the basic pointers. And then as always, keeping the eyes, the ears, and the throat soft without tension. And that takes practice. So am I holding tension in one eye versus the other eye? And you start releasing the eyes, releasing the throat, and especially the ears. And then you also release the belly. Sometimes you can put your fingers onto the collarbones and then inhale as the collarbones come up. Leave the collarbones lifted and then exhale, lifting the chest and exhaling. So it's going to be less of a lift when you inhale, but you can still allow it to not drop down as you exhale. So if you do have pressure in the eyes and the ears or the throat or the belly, just make sure that the practice of pranayama doesn't increase that tension for you. If you can't help it, if every time you breathe, you're building up more pressure in the eyes or in the ears, throat or belly, then go ahead and stop and either finish your practice, and you can do shavasana, or try pranayama laying down and then start from there and build up this ability to release the eyes, ears, throat, and belly before you do a full-fledged pranayama practice. So after you've tried lifting your chest, maybe on a chair or sitting in a yoga pose, a sitting yoga pose, and you've experienced this lift of the chest and this ability to soften the throat and this meeting point between the throat and the clavicle here, create like a deep, soft space, then try it laying down and practice it with the blanket laying down. So spend a few minutes folding your blanket. I'll link a video on how to do that, but essentially you want to have a little pyramid like this that you make for yourself, and then I'll show you how to lay down on that blanket. Just lay so that you're very centered on top of that top tier of your blanket. So come down here and then adjust your pillow. And here, make sure that if I don't have the pillow, that I'm not laying down where I'm getting this angle to my chin. So I use a pillow to make sure that the chin has a little bit of a slant down. Then I bring the legs down. There we go. And here I work on bringing the skin of the back down so that the skin of my back isn't bunching here around the neck. I can put my fingers on the clavicles and I can lift the chest here, soften the eyes, ears, throat, and belly. Inhale by first we laterally expand, the chest instead of the up and down of the stomach here. So we want to see this minimal movement of the belly going up and down, and we want the expansion of the rib cage to the sides a little bit more. So this, and then the air comes in. So it doesn't expand to the side by you breathing it out, but you bring it out and then the air comes in. And at the same time, lifting the chest. As you breathe out, keep the chest lifted, and this is when you would notice a little bit of hardening in the eyes, ears, or throat, so release those. And tongue is not on the palate, it's nice and resting on the bottom jaw. And here you can really notice, because you're laying down, when you start collapsing the chest and lifting the chest. So you want the chest lifted. So remember that quality of this space here in between the clavicle and the neck to be deep, soft, versus, hard, so that we work on that. I hope this video helps you in understanding the lift of the chest in pranayama and gives you a way to practice that. But enjoy your pranayama. I hope that you are able to start a consistent pranayama practice and really start feeling all of the benefits that it can bring to your practice. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. See you on the next one.